And welcome to Season 4, Episode 5 of the Dolphin Pod. This is our first episode of the 2024-2025 athletic season. And just like we opened up Season 4, we open up a new athletic year with a conversation with cross-country track and field head coach Akil St. Louis. Akil, welcome back to the Dolphin Pod.
Thank you for having me, Joe. Appreciate it.
And Akil, last time we spoke, your team was right on the heels of the Indoor Track and Field Championship. Obviously, since then, we've gotten the chance to speak to Ava Thompson as well. We got some of her thoughts with the championship just days away. But for you, what are some of your thoughts on how the indoor and outdoor season went last year as we look ahead toward cross-country in just a few moments?
I think both seasons went really well. I was really excited for the outdoor season. Outdoor season was very competitive. We had a great program at the end, at the tail end of things. The kids fought hard, ran really well. They were excited about the medals that they achieved. The main thing for me as a coach is seeing an athlete smile more than anything. So to see that was like very rewarding for me and the coaching staff. So we were excited. We scored the most points, I believe, in our track and field outdoor ECC history, which is a good achievement, especially on the men's side. And the women's side, they competed very well. Ava competed very well that day. And the rest of our mid-distance, distance sprint group ran really well competitively. That was the most important thing for me at the end of the ECC championship. Yep.
And obviously something you and I spoke about going back to our conversation last year was the need for patience. After a year in the books now, returning as head coach, how do you feel that approach has paid off? And what are some of your takeaways from year one as head coach? Perhaps some things you didn't expect.
Our student athletes they still a little bit impatient. I don't think that's going to take time for them to kind of like understand, my coaching acumen. That stuff takes time, but they slowly are getting used to how things are ran. A lot of them, for the past, before I came, things was kind of like a little scattered all over the place. But now, it takes time for them to kind of like get everything in order and really buy into the coaching philosophy that I have for them. I expect really high things and high goals for this group. The coaching staff and myself did a really good job, recruiting and getting athletes who compete and want to be a part of a program. So that was the most exciting and rewarding thing for me as a head coach going into my second year.
And shifting our attention over to cross-country now. The season begins on Friday at the Adelphi Panthers cross-country invite. And with cross-country, a lot of the time, our viewers at home on Sportsnet don't get the chance to watch a live stream of a race, or really they rely heavily on the write-ups and different articles we post on csidolphins.com, the online statistics. So for those who haven't had that kind of first-hand exposure to running, what makes the sport so great?
Oh, I love cross-country. Cross-country is it has its like its fun attributes about it. You're outside, you're outdoors, you're in the forest or the woods or whatever the case is. But looking forward to this Friday is very exciting for me. As I said before, we have a lot of a diverse group of athletes from Buffalo State, from AIC, from Wagner College. We have a girl, Mary Lee, who never ran track before. So this is her first cross-country meet. She was a 4-year player at Chaminade in Hawaii, actually. So for her to do this is kind of like a big deal for her. We have a lot of athletes and a lot of kids who've been working hard and excited to compete at this level. But my main focus right now, especially the first two meets, is more of like a preseason meet, getting them adjusted to it, getting their feet wet to it. But cross country is very exciting. Like I said, I like coaching it. I like being a part of it. and it's something that I'm looking forward to this Friday.
You mentioned Mary Lee, a first-time runner.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to someone who's looking to get started for the first time with running and ultimately build themselves up to potentially being a part of something like a collegiate program?
Yeah, so it's funny. Last year, having Angie on the team who didn't run, she ran track, but wasn't really, accustomed to running and was a softball player and basketball player. I kind of use those same type of methodologies with her, with Mary Lou, who are actually cousins. So just doing things slowly, progressively, doing more anaerobic training, nothing too heavy and aerobic for right now. Just making it more fun and doing a light introduction to our sport, especially like a kid like Liz. Like Liz is ran 4 years at Tonneville, very competitive, but it took her a while to kind of readjust her talents to the college scene a little bit. So our program has a good mixture of student athletes who are very high caliber athletes, and then we have a mixture of student athletes who played other sports and did other things and wanted to be involved with running and track and field. So it took a lot of myself and the coaching staff to have them readjust to this life of being a full-time cross-country athlete, which can be a little bit difficult at times.
Cross country obviously gets started on Friday, and it's been
Yep.
4 months since the outdoor championship. So we've had an entire off season go by since the last time we had an episode of the podcast and the last time that your team got to compete against other collegiate programs. But what does that 4 months of preparation look like? How much of that time do you actually get to use per NCAA guidelines to get ready for the season? And from year one to year two, any changes to your approach in getting prepared for this first meet now with more time as head coach ahead of meet number one?
Yeah, so last year was insane to say the least. Um, I was I was transitioning from NIAC, and then when NIAC closed, and I went came here late, very very late in the cross country season. So we kind of I had to kind of scatter and patch everything together and bring in these kids, and but with a certain amount of brief amount of time. I remember I was out, and every year friends and I, we do a baseball trip, so we go to every stadium across the
Oh,
country.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so we were actually in Kansas City when I got the call that I got the position. So while we were on vacation, I'm just doing everything in my power to get all these kids, and it was tough. So I didn't really have enough time to put together a team that I really really wanted, and that's no offense to the kids that were on the program last year, but my vision for the program was getting more athletes who had the background in track and field and cross country. So this summer, from May to even up to right now, just been recruiting and recruiting and recruiting, just trying to get the name out there. Going out to Cleveland, going out to different states throughout that time really helped blossom and kind of bloom our program. So like last year was more of kind of like this adversity. That was kind of like our word. It was adversity and foundation. So like when I first talked and introduced myself to the team last year, I brought up incidents that happened with me, and not to sound like egotistical about it, but you know, 4 years ago when I was assistant coach, I was involved in a life-altering incident. Right, so unfortunately, I was driving in Florida, and then a person that was under influence, she hit us, and then I was ejected out of a car, and I broke multiple bones in my body, and then even right now I have a rod in my left leg. But those, I used that event to what I went through to kind of just give them the confidence and tell them that this is this is just momentarily. This is just for right now. Let's just move on and try to, be better as people, be better as students, be better as athletes. And it worked. You kind of seen the readjustment period happening. But this year, now we have to transition into building a program. We can't go backwards. It's year two. Year two is a big time for for our program, for our school, especially with the coaching staff that I have now, and in our athletes. So everybody just has to gel, work together, and do the things that's important for us to improve and do better as a group. Yep.
Well, sharing that story is not egotistical at all. It's inspirational, and I thank you for sharing that on the show.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of recruiting, you have multiple record holders from last year's cross-country squad who are returning, Wayne, Liz, Angie among those. What are some of the names we can really look forward to seeing race for the first time this year and get excited about?
On the women's side, obviously we discussed about Liz. I actually nominated Liz to be our preseason runner of the year. I felt like she had a really good summer. Her and I kind of conversed a little bit about it. I didn't go too heavy with her. And then obviously we have Angie returning. Angie's very stout, very a good runner. I think she, needed that year to kind of gel and readjust to the program. Alex is great. Alex is, she was, I named her actually the cross country female athlete of the year. She's come back and looking stronger than ever. And then our newcomers are Adanasia Washington from Truman High School. She's kind of like that. She does everything. She's a pure athlete. She's a jumper. She's a hurdler. She does the mid distance, cross country. She's an overall athlete that that we were looking for. And then we also have Cameron Koch. Cameron is from Townsville High School, born leader. She's just she goes after everything that you ask her to do. Doesn't complain. Does what she needs to do. She's very inspirational. Just talking to her and hearing about her story. And then also Mary Lee. Mary Lee she was a standout basketball athlete she went to Curtis. Was recruited at Chaminade and went out there for 4 years at Hawaii, and she's great to have around the program as well. She every now and then she'll tell me about different stories when she was playing basketball, and I asked her about the Maui Invitational, which is a very popular invitational for basketball for women's and men's basketball. And she was like, I played against Louisville and Duke, and it's like it's crazy to hear it. So I kind of tell her to, use those fundamentals, use that mentality, and transition it towards track and field, cross country, which obviously is different sports, but just use that that winning mentality, towards the program, and it's great to have her around as well. Obviously we have another student athlete, Melanie. Melanie's going to be around as well. She works extremely hard. She's the glue, I call her, for our program. All of them have different jobs. All have different things that they could include into the program. And on the men's side, they're very. I feel like we can be up there. We can compete with the Damons of the world and the Roberts Wesleyans of the world, with Wayne. Who's back this year. He's another guy named preseason runner of the year. Hosmi Sarita. Hosmi's from Wagner. He always wants to learn, always wants to do better. Competed very well for Wagner College last year. And then we have Keelan. Keelan Martin is from American International College in Massachusetts. He's a workhorse as well. Max is kind of like that quiet assassin. He works hard, that kid. So it's a very diverse group, and then we have the freshmen as well. So our freshmen, we have Walter. He's from Wagner High School, and then we have Sean. He's a returner, and Matt Amato. Matt Amato, I love Matt. Matt is another guy. He's another glue guy that that we need in order to be successful. So that group kind of with them all together will work and and kind of encourage each other to get better. So I like the fact that they went out. I had another recruit from California. He had I guess his family has a summer home in New Jersey, and they all went out without me saying it. They all went out as a group to the Jersey Shore at his uncle's beach house, and they had a great time. Just to see the picture, it was like 40 of them, and I don't think we ever had a group like that before. Have 40 student athletes all together in one setting. It's great to see, and it's exciting for me. Just to look at where we were and where we're at now.
And looking ahead to the upcoming season, obviously the East Coast Conference, a very competitive conference, and you touched on it in your last answer, but in a more, I guess, detailed manner, what do you expect in terms of where your team stands in the ECC this year? I know in the past we've seen conference preseason polls posted on the door of your office. What are your expectations from the group in terms of the East Coast Conference and how you stack up this season?
To be honest with you, I was, last year, again, like I said earlier, like we kind of like pieced together both the women and the men program. The women, I think they placed seventh, and the men placed fifth. The men were 4 points behind St. Thomas Aquinas. So for me as a competitor, I know at times when I'm in the office, I'm kind of like I'm very, to myself, but I have like the game face on, and I'm so focused on.
I know about the game face. Once the headset comes off, the game face goes on.
It goes on. Yeah. So I'm trying to, get focused and bring in kids. But when I'm out there on the track, like I'm going after it. So I was kind of like not disappointed, but it just brought a new fire that I needed when I saw that we were ranked last on the men's side and ranked last on the women's side, because I felt like this team is a lot stronger from where it was last year. They work hard, they work tirelessly, they try to, encourage each other. So, me as a head coach, I have to give them that fire to keep it going. I wouldn't say I was disappointed in where we ranked in terms of the poll, but we needed that extra fire and an extra boost to get, and to work harder for where we when ECC comes, which is a new venue. It's not the same venue like we were going in previous years. We were going to go to Roberts. Now we're going to a whole new park that's hosted by Damon in Buffalo. So we got to get focused for that. So that's why I kind of like trying to inform our student athletes that it's time to get refocused. Obviously in the classroom, that's first and foremost, and then we go refocus on the course. Yep.
And your program is one that has seemingly brought on student athletes in droves. What's been the key to making your program so appealing? And for those who might be interested on getting involved, how can they reach out to you and perhaps get involved in the program?
Well, I appreciate that. Obviously there's still more work we have to do. Now I have a manager on board. She's kind of been the point person in terms of the social media platform. I kind of took a step back from that, and she's been very helpful and kind of building up our social media presence. She shows me about the impressions. I didn't know about that, any of this stuff. So
not my forte either. Yeah. That's why Marquise is here.
Yeah. So it kind of helps with that, and then also with the connections that I have in the city. So I have a lot of connections in the Bronx, a lot of connections in Queens and in Brooklyn, and so I'm going out to meets and speaking to some head coaches out there as well. A good friend of mine, Jeremy Alvarez, I saw him yesterday, and we were just talking about recruiting, talking about how to get more kids, and he kind of like is my point person in terms of which program would be kind of beneficial for us. So that's why I have that connection with high schools like with Truman High School. Truman High School, coached by Coach Dez, she's doing a great job there. So she's kind of like has that program where they're very competitive, but it took time to get to that point. So, I look at a program like that, and I look at also at like Wagner High School. Those programs kind of like are building programs and doing it the right way. So I kind of like take, bits and pieces of what they're doing and kind of use it, and apply it here. And it's been very, beneficial. That's why we were able to get student athletes like Adonijah Washington, um, Jeremiah, Enoch. They call him Moose, which I love. I love that nickname. So we were able to get those kids and kind of like turn the page and just in terms of our culture and how we do things here.
And outside the realm of competition, I've seen your student athletes involved in plenty. Some of them got the chance to meet Dr. John Carlos. Alex Jackson got a chance to speak on behalf of student athletes in front of the CUNY Board of Trustees. And then Ava Thompson, working with the New York Stem Cell Foundation over the summer as part of her internship. So many examples of community engagement. Is there anything more that I missed, or is there anything new coming up that you want to talk about?
So we actually have a couple of events coming up. We're going to do Brittany's Walk / Run. So Brittany was a Verrazano student, and it's very unfortunate of her passing in 2020. She passed of a brain aneurysm, and her mother is a very vocal advocate for brain intervention, brain aneurysm, kind of like just giving people the tutelage and the knowledge that they need to understand the importance of kind of protecting yourself from it. So she established this walk with the B Foundation, which has been very a great cause. She's actually I'm working on trying to get her to come and talk to our student athletes on September 13th. So that these things are important for us, and then also Michael's Run. You probably heard of that, which is very popular in Staten Island. We're going to try to get our kids involved with doing some volunteer work, and then also in December we're also going to go behind Townsville High School. It's hosted by Joey V. He does he's big in community and big into toy drive, so we're going to do that again. So it's important for me as a head coach is not only to, we're wearing Staten Island across our jerseys, so we have to represent our community. That's first and foremost for me. Representing our community, being vocal leaders. Anytime they wear anything College of Staten Island, you're representing yourself, you represent your family, your friends, you're representing the school, and you're representing me. So, it's important that you're out there and you're doing, being a stand-up citizen, for our community. So, these things are important for us. So those are the things that I'm excited for or looking forward to. So, Brittany's Walk is something that, I already told her mother, Brittany, Patricia, that we're going to be there September 15th, and represent our school, the school that she loved, Brittany loved, and represent the program that she loves because she loved track and field, she loved running, and that's something that that I think is important that we still a part of.
And as always, Akil, when we wrap up the show, we give you the opportunity to take a look into the camera over there and address the audience at home, message to potential recruits, message to the audience, anything you want to say. The floor is yours.
So, any recruits that are interested in coming and attending the College of Staten Island, it's important to do your due diligence. It's important to check all your boxes. Be open-minded to any school that you happen to look into and want to be interested in and want to be vested in. So if I reach out and you reach out to me, let's have that conversation. Let's talk. Let's see what we can do for you and your family. But the most important thing right now, as any senior that's graduating in 2025, is to do your due diligence, do your research, do the knowledge, and then everything will be run the way that you need it to. But it's important now, especially now with things are different in terms of the economy. To be more financially literate, make the wise decision, and I hope that the College of Staten Island is a place for you to enjoy. The program is hungry, and we welcome you with open arms, and hopefully you give us, give us a chance, and see what my coaches can do for you, and what I can do for you to benefit you in the long run, as an athlete, and also as a student, and when it's time for you to be in the workplace as an adult. So that that's my keys. So thank you again, Joe. I really appreciate it.
Well, we have a phone call coming in
there you go.
to our studio. We don't get that too often. That's some way to wrap up the show, Akil, but we'll do so over the sound of our phone ringing. This has been Joe Foreman alongside my guest, Akil St. Louis, and building upon your last answer as someone who could speak from experience. Opportunity comes calling sometimes, even over the phone, but here at the College of Staten Island, I was a student. I haven't left since. I graduated in 2015. 7 years later, the phone is still ringing, and I am still here. This has been Season 4, Episode 5 of the Dolphin Pod. You can catch new episodes of the Dolphin Pod exclusively on our CSI Sportsnet YouTube channel. And until next time, this has been Joe Foreman. One final thank you to our guest, Akil St. Louis, and thanks for watching.